right, and today we're doing a double batch, a Dubbel batch. Ah, show man.
Belgian jokes.
Yeah, that's bad. All right, but seriously, so we're taking to doing double batches primarily because we found that we run out of beer between brew days.
Yeah.
And that's unacceptable.
Nope. So yeah, we just do double batches each time. That way we each have beer in our pipelines in our houses and
Forever, because beer forever.
beer forever.
Yeah.
So no matter where we go, there's usually beer on tap. But guess what? I don't have any beer on tap.
I know.
I'm out of beer.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Because that strong ale lasted 3 weekends.
I know. And you drink less beer at your house than I drink at my house.
Yeah, but we drink beer a lot. And
I come over and drink your beer.
I brought a growler over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Was it one or two?
Just the one
Just
night.
the one? Anyways.
But the point being, the timing of it was off so that the next beer that was ready, which is carbonated right now, won't be ready till next weekend. So.
Yeah, so that's the way it is. I hate waiting.
That's right.
It's okay. Maybe we should do a broadcast where we make ham sandwiches.
Yeah?
It's fast, like 40 seconds.
It's a little more gratifying, I imagine.
Well, instant gratification.
Right?
But we're not for that.
You want ham sandwiches?
Yes. I like ham sandwiches. Like with lettuce and tomato and
Real sandwich, you know?
and stuff. Or like the ham sandwiches on the crusty toasted brioche bun. And there's like this pesto. It's got olives and olive oil.
Sounds
and
good.
cabbage. It's not cabbage. It's artichoke. It's like pickled. It's delicious. Trust me.
We have a
Oh, what you want to bet?
I don't know. I can't read it from this distance.
All right, $5. It says, our brother Chase.
What's up, Chase?
Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks, man. Checking in. Okay, so we really are doing a double batch, and we're doing something interesting. And I'm going to start mine first. That way we'll get mine to chill first and stuff. So why don't you tell them about your beer while I pour this water in here and get this going?
So today I'm doing another recipe of my own design. This is my third recipe, huh? Yeah, wow, okay. Good thing we're writing these things down.
Yeah. Okay.
I am. How about you?
I wrote something down.
Let me find my recipe. There we go. So today I'm doing what is known as a Belgian style Dubbel, which is, it's kind of a dark coppery ale. And what makes it Belgian is going to have Belgian yeast in it. That's the only difference. As far as all the other ingredients, it's standard. But I'll give you my list. Here we go. I'm using 6.6 pounds of amber malt extract, 1 pound of dry malt extract. The reason I did that is the liquid malts come in tubs of 3.3 pounds, and I just didn't need almost 10 pounds of extract, honestly. My specialty malts are 1/2 pound of Crystal 60, which is, it's going to be dark, but not too dark, I'm using 1/4 pound of chocolate malt, which will add a little bit of flavor and coloring. A 1/2 pound of biscuit malt. That's where I made my alteration. Originally, the recipe was going to have toasted malt in it, but our supplier did not have toasted malt, and so the closest alternative was biscuit malt, and so that's what I used.
It happened to me with my recipe too.
Yeah. So I'm using 1/2 pound of biscuit malt. Also, I'm adding a 1/2 pound of candy sugar, which I don't have with me at the moment. But it's in the form of, it's not liquid in this case, it's in the form of it looks like a rock, because it's kind of amber in color, actually.
Like rock candy?
Like rock candy, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, like crystal, it's like crystal, it looks like quartz, like dark quartz, actually. My hops are going to be, I'm using 2 ounces of Goldings for bittering, which I'll throw in at the 60-minute mark, and then I'm going to use 1 ounce of Mount Hood for finishing, which I'll throw in at the 5-minute remaining mark. And then my yeast is Belgian yeast from Y Yeast. The number is 3787. And that is it. As far as the process, it's going to be pretty standard. I'm going to bring my steeping grains up to temperature. Then once they're at temperature, I'm going to let it go for 30 minutes. Temperature is anywhere between 150 and 160 degrees. And once the steep is done, I'll let the wort drain off and bring up my fire to get a nice rolling boil, and then do a 1-hour rolling boil. If you've watched any of our previous shows, you'll know exactly what we're doing. We're staggering because we only have one wort chiller. So we don't want our beers to be done at the same time. That way, whoever's using the wort chiller cools their beer nice and rapidly, but the other person's beer keeps kind of doing its job, like even though it's on the fire. And we don't want that to happen because it's going to alter the flavor.
We found that out the hard way.
We found it the hard way, yeah. We learned that snow does not rapidly cool beer either.
No, because
So yeah, Jamie's gonna go for.
how about
30 minutes or so, at least until he starts his timer.
How about you start? Yeah, when I start my timer,
Then I'll pour my water and then we'll make it happen because it worked out pretty well last time.
yeah, everything was spread out.
All right, that is Belgian style Dubbel. I have not named it yet. We tend to name our beers after they're carbonated once we've had a final taste. And speaking of, I took my final gravity on the ESV, but I didn't do the math, so I don't know what the ABV is. But I can do the math while you're talking.
It's true if you got it written down.
Yeah, I wrote it all down.
Sweet. All right, so let me grab my notepad, which I also make phone calls with.
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Notes. All right, so I'm gonna do a Russian Imperial Stout. I wanted to use Y Yeast 1187, and it was. I gotta admit, the reason I chose that was because it was recommended by Y Yeast. So I just totally bought into their thing. But it was out of stock, so I had the same thing happen to me that you had happened to you. Had to adjust the recipe based on what was available. That's okay. I think we're gonna work out all right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, so I'm using Y Yeast 1028, which is just it's a British ale yeast, so it appeals to British style beers, and I'm making a Russian Imperial Stout, which are brewed in England. Apparently, there's a story behind that. Not Saint Peter. Peter the Great, or one of the Russian czars, went to England and tasted stout. He's like, "This is amazing!" And then so they started importing stout, and it was the first batch didn't make it because they had different preservation techniques, different hop techniques back then. But the second batch did, and it was really strong. And over time, just like stouts at the beginning simply meant a strong beer, and now they come to mean a dark beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dark part isn't really traditionally, that's not a definition of stout, but now it is. I think the whole Russian Imperial thing is the same idea. It's like, at first it was a stout, and now, my phone logged out. And then over time it became a Russian Imperial Stout. But the Russian part is not because it was brewed in Russia. The Russian part is because it was exported to Russia or imported from England to Russia.
Ah, I see.
That's where the whole Russian part comes in.
Kind of like the India part, when the India Pale Ale, it was exported to India.
Yeah, it actually
was made in India.
It was not brewed in India, although I'm sure it is now. So we're going with Brice Amber, 9.9 pounds of liquid malt extract, Brice Amber. 2 ounces of Willamette, which I chose, again, just based on, it was right, I used Charlie Papazian.
Yeah, all these years I've been saying it wrong, Papazian.
I've heard it said so many ways that I never knew. But Trevor assured me that Papazian is
Charlie Papazian as well. He's like, no, it's Papazian. Oh.
Yes, Papazian. So anyways, Charlie Papazian. And I just did a little bit of the, I did a little bit of the looking. So we got 2 ounces of Willamette. That's going to be my bittering hops. I figured out, I didn't write this down, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my first hops. It's going to be a 60-minute boil for me. So like my Scotch ale was a 90-minute boil, which I did to get some of those processes that happen to boiling before I pitch the hops. Well, this one is going to be 60-minute. So we're going to pitch the Willamettes right at the beginning, and then at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to put it in the Goldings.
Okay.
Maybe the 5-minute mark. What do you think?
I think you should go to 10-minute mark.
10-minute mark? Because
it's not supposed to be a hoppy beer.
I know, but it's Goldings, and okay, we'll do 10 minutes. So we're going to do the Goldings at the 10-minute mark, because I do want a little bit of hops, but like Steve, I don't want it to be a Russian Imperial Stout IPA. All right. Which we should try one of those. So my grains are Crystal 1/6 or 150, 7 ounces, Golden Naked Oats, 7 ounces, and Melanoidin, autocorrect. Oops. Melanoidin, 2 ounces. And I chose those three basically around adding a little bit of sweetness, but not too much. And then I wanted to have like a nice velvety mouthfeel. I don't want it to be like a super dry beer. Kind of like my Scotch ale. You know, it's thick, and that's what I wanted. And we're going into winter, and I like those kind of beers anyways. So That's what those are for. And then to kind of bring it into the dark zone and to add those chocolate and coffee flavors, I've got black malt 3 ounces, roasted barley 12 ounces, and chocolate malt 3 ounces. So again, I have almost 2 pounds of grains. Another double muslin bag batch, which I really tried to not do that. I did, but then I think I got upsold. I got upsold by our brewer. But anyway,
So you had to make that adjustment. So.
well, yeah,
That is recommendation. I mean, obviously, you
Yeah.
have to, but
but yeah, that's the thing though. It's like we've been brewing beers from
you're gonna need this.
pre-made recipes, thank you, for quite a while, and so we feel really confident when it comes to someone else's recipe. But there's still a lot of stuff we don't know. Like, what exactly do golden oats do? I happen to know that they add mouthfeel and some sweetness to it.
Are those the naked oats?
The golden naked oats.
Ooh, naked.
The other reason is like anytime something's naked, come on,
Naked's good.
naked's good.
Within reason.
Oh yeah, true. There's some things you don't want.
Some things you don't want to see naked.
Yes. So the melanoidin I added.
That sounds like something you could put on like your hands. Oh, I need some melanoid in my
I know,
lotion.
it's more a cancer.
Yeah.
But anyways, I remember I added that again for the mouthfeel, but I added a little bit of that, like not too much of it, because they said that if you go overboard with that, you can kind of end up with like a biscuit or something. That's just, you can ruin your beer real quickly with that stuff. So I was a little careful, ran it past the brew supply guys who have been putting together batches of beer for forever and kind of know what these things do.
Right.
And so that's how I landed on everything. So that's my beer, Russian Imperial Stout. We'll see how it turns out in about 6 weeks, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have an idea at the 2-week mark when we sample, when we
rack it.
and then we'll have a better idea at the 4-week mark when we, sample again as we go into the keg, and then finally when it's carved and ready to go, we'll know whether it came out good or not.
Right.
So that's my beer.
All right. Yeah, I was a busy brewer today. I racked the IPA. What was it? I can't remember the full name. It wasn't my recipe. It was our supplier's recipe.
Oh, the
It was
winter
something
one?
mode IPA. I forget the full name of it though.
The winter one?
Yeah, it was something mode IPA, winter IPA.
A la mode?
No, it wasn't all mode, but anyway, I racked that today. It seems
I
to be
like
okay. It got dry hopped also at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, meaning it was not infected. I couldn't really determine the flavor yet because I think it still has a lot more work to do, but it wasn't infected, and that's what mattered to me. And I also kegged the ESB, which that one was my recipe. That was my second recipe I designed.
And you said it tasted really
I thought it
good.
tasted great.
And I'm upset I wasn't able to beat it.
Nice. It was nice and clear going through the siphon. Unfortunately, though, it's probably going to get chill haze, but that's the nature of the beast.
Why? Because do we ever buy Whirly Flip?
Well, we keep forgetting to
No,
buy the
we
things
don't.
that are supposed to help reduce that.
We even
Irish
try.
moss or roll flock, Roll flock's like a little tablet, and then Irish moss is actually moss. I'm not sure if it's from Ireland, but they call it Irish moss though. But it's supposed to, what it does at the chemical level is it coagulates things, and it helps it all sink to the bottom, so that way when you transfer your beers over, you're getting less particulates in there. Because even though my ESP was nice and clear through the hose, there's still particulates transferring over that contribute to that chill haze. Because when it gets cold, those things kind of get up and suspend, up in suspension.
Well, yeah, and there's also a lot of I guess you'd almost call them like microscopic yeast particles that are floating around in there.
Right.
And I would imagine what the chill haze is, once you chill it, they coagulate, but they still stay in
It's a state
suspension.
suspension, that's what you're seeing.
I mean,
The chill haze, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just some people don't like it because they want their beer to be nice and clear, and I get that. But chill haze is just a nature of brewing. Big breweries get away with not having chill haze because they probably filter their beer. Some of them pasteurize your beer, so it removes all that stuff and then it causes a chill haze. But roll flock and that Irish moss is a home brewer's remedy for that. I don't know if it's 100%, but probably.
Well, I
does pretty
think
well.
it just helps.
Helps, yeah.
I mean, there are other things that help that I think we're going to get better as time goes on. The hot break
Oh yeah.
and the cold break. I mean, so that's a big part of it. Your yeast choice is a big part of it.
Sure.
If you want clear beer, you look at your yeast and see if it says a high flocculation, You know, and most of them are like 73 to 75%, but some of them are even higher. If you want a really clear beer, those are the numbers you're looking at. If you see, sometimes they say in percentages, sometimes they say it just medium, low, high.
Right.
But like, I think my yeast is like a medium. It's like 73% flocculation, which means that when the yeast is done doing its thing and it clumps together and settles down and forms that yeast cake at the bottom, about 75% of it comes out, which means 25% of it is floating up there.
Still in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it gets cold, apparently it just becomes visible. I don't know if it just coagulates just enough so you can see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
Don't know the chemistry of that part yet. I'm sure. I know it's someone's written about it, and you can read about it, but I just don't feel like doing that all the time.
Well, it's fun, and it's not.
Sometimes I get in research mode, sometimes I don't. So.
Well, I mean, eventually we're gonna look at it.
Yeah, usually there's something we're looking at that's related. It's like, oh, okay, and I'll read about it. Actually, learn what's happening. So.
I'm gonna at 60 minutes, and we're gonna put.
Oh yeah, I guess I should have marked mine too. I didn't mark my times.
Can't go like you say 10 minutes, huh? I'm gonna go with that.
Where'd you go? Notes.
And yeah, everything else. I mean, I think I'm gonna put this one in my basement instead of out on the porch. Because it is getting a little bit colder. It might be too cold for an ale yeast at this point. It might make it go dormant again, which wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I would. Agree.
So once I figure that one out, like with the Scotch ale, I just monitor the temperature. And so like, if we ever get like a temperature controlled fermenter box, like go buy a refrigerator or something, or another chest freezer to ferment in, then I'll know that what I think would be cool is to do it at 66 degrees. That's about where it's set. And it turned out great. So it's like, yeah, you do the recipe that way, it'll turn out good, right around 66 degrees.
All right. Notes are updated as well.
So that's what I'm thinking. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I put it down there, I'm going to figure out just kind of about where it's sitting, because I don't have a temperature control right now. But my basement is cool, and it's winter, so it'll be cooler. Because it's not very well heated. And by not very well heated, I mean not at all.
It doesn't exist.
Yes, there is no heat in my basement.
Are you close? Ish.
127, 128, 130.
Yeah, you're close-ish.
Yeah, close-ish.
Yeah, so yours goes a lot faster because you're closer to your fire, that's why he goes first. Yeah, because mine takes longer to heat because there's a bigger gap between the bottom of my boiling kettle and my burner.
Because the one thing we don't want is for you to go first and then I catch up because everything moves
Or
first.
surpass it. It's like,
Great, now we're both done right at the same minute.
Yeah.
Whose beer do we sacrifice?
Yeah, and we don't want to have to make that decision.
Some choices that a man should never be forced to make.
No one's beer is going down.
It's a little overly dramatic for what we're doing.
Yeah, it's so fun. Well, my burner is awfully dirty from spills and boilovers.
Well, yeah, I mean,
give it a good scrub down. I mean, they're going to see all the residual on it, sticky too,
And you can pour that much sugar all over it.
Yeah, right.
This one's pretty grody too for the same reasons. We used to be the kings of boilovers.
Yeah.
Because we chat. Which you run the risk of a boilover today, Mr. Dry Malts. Or is that today?
Yeah, I have a kind of dry malt.
Yeah, those dry malts are wicked.
So the beer we're drinking today is unfortunately not our own. This is Session IPA from Founders. Founders, I believe, is out of Oregon. And it's a kind of a low octane IPA. I think there's only like 4.8 or something like that.
Right.
So it's
one of the reasons
nice,
you like it.
nice, great, relaxing drink. You can probably mow your lawn with it, mow your lawn with an IPA. Most people mow their lawn with Coors Light, but that's a joke. I'm generalizing, but
I like Coors Light.
I drank Coors Light yesterday, so. the one dehydrated, so I thought.
Yeah, but that was for breakfast. That doesn't count. So yeah, this is good. I mean, it's a safe beer to drink during the brew session type deal.
Oh yeah. We're drinking 8%ers during the brewing. We run the risk of mistakes. It's happening.
Yeah, we tend to. Let's avoid doing
right.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna go flip our carboys that are sanitizing.
Okay.
Roll real quick. So, or you can get yours. Mine's inside. So.
Yeah, you'd have to cross the barrier to get to mine. Getting there. We are at. Ouch. Oh, it hurts.
Okay, good. Yeah, I smacked the yeast about 1:30 or so. And I left it in my office where I have a little space heater going. That way it, not too warm, but warm enough to help the yeast wake up. I have it set at 66 degrees, so it'll be fine. Set my timer.
I think I'm right about there. I'm at 148.
All right. Yeah, I see you already brought your heat back.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we've learned to adjust our heat incrementally as we get close to our target temperatures so that we can kind of maintain that 10 degree, plus or minus in there. Actually, it's more like plus or minus 5 that we want. Because we had a bad habit of not doing that, and then we would go over 160, which for a little bit of time probably wouldn't hurt it too bad, but you don't want to not going that long,
Yeah, but then we were spending all that time fiddling with the heat, which I know I'm fiddling with the heat, but we were fiddling with the heat in the danger zone instead of fiddling with the heat
Right.
like 150 right there. Go ahead and start.
Okay.
I need a good file.
I do.
In the house.
Yes. All right, one for you and one for me.
Perfect.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put my water in.
Actually, I guess you don't do this for quite a while, do you?
The usual 3 gallons of water is my starting point. Depending whose book you're reading or what blog you're reading. So people will say 2 gallons, people will say, 2.5 gallons, people will say 1 gallon. I don't know enough to know the difference of why you would use less or more water.
I know.
Why don't you share with us then?
I see. So, I actually do know why you use less or more water. I think it applies more to, I need to start my timer. I think it applies more to all grain brewing than it does to partial mash, or what we're doing. We're not even doing partial mash. Extract.
No, extract, yeah.
But remember how, there was that whole discussion we were talking about, that whole thing about squeezing out the grain bag or rinsing it or doing those things when you're done.
Oh, yeah.
And how they say, don't squeeze the grain bag and all that. Well,
you use tannin, you could.
right, exactly. And a lot of it has to do with the pH of the water.
Okay.
And so what happens is, as you add your grains in, it drops the pH. I think it drops the pH. I have to restudy. Anyways, it adjusts the pH of the water, and it moves it more acidic. And actually, if you have too much water, I think it stays too basic.
Oh, I see.
Or whatever. Man, I'd have to look it up again. But basically, that's the idea, is that it has to do with the acidity of the water and how the grains adjust that water. Okay.
A little fire.
Rock and roll.
Had to make sure I had a flame, man.
Yeah, I guess so. So anyways, that's really it. That's why there's that whole discussion about how much water and why we don't just steep in 5 gallons of water and stuff. Because
Right.
that and the fact that our pots would be full and there'd be no room for boilovers.
Right.
But yeah, it has to do with the acidity and the tannins, and apparently you don't want too much water. You want only enough water.
Just enough, yeah.
And like I said, I really think that applies to all grain more than it applies to extract brewing like we do. I think my next beer that I design, I'm gonna go for just a very simple beer.
That's all right. That's what that ESB was for me. It's a real simple, non-complex beer.
Yeah, I mean, because this one, I got 2 beers in a row where my grain bill is all confusing. And, I mean, it's not confusing, but it's just like.
That was dumb.
It's not confusing, but it's like overly complex.
Right, I follow you.
But I tell you what, with that Scotch ale, it made for a great Scotch ale.
All right. Fly away, little birdie. Or something like that. All right, thermometer. Oh, I don't need it yet.
Really?
Started. Yeah, I don't really need it yet.
Just want to see how close to 60 degrees your water is?
57. Got a ways to go.
Just a little bit.
All right, huh? Here we go.
And we are brewing.
Belgian Dubbel. Dubbel. You know, I don't remember where I picked up that siphon that I'm unhappy with. I can't remember if it was from in our town or if it was where we usually go.
I don't think it matters. I think they're all the same brand. I
Probably.
was just looking at them. They all seem really close to the same.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Right.
I mean, it's kind of like auto parts stores. You know,
Yeah, right.
they all have different names on them, but they're all made by the same factory.
Sure.
Which is not to say that, there aren't differences between the stores. Guys, checking on Walmart batteries. I was like, how the heck does Walmart sell batteries for $50? And part of it's because they have a 6-month warranty. That's it, flat.
Right. They're not made to be quality, so they're gonna be
Right.
$50 or whatever.
And a lot of them are refurbished, so they're not like so. Every battery that you buy has come from a different battery. That's why. So you give your old battery back to the store. They give you your $20 back or whatever. Then they melt down the lead and they put it into a new battery, right? Because lead is one of those things that just melts, and you can reuse lead forever. It's just it goes liquid, solid, liquid, solid, liquid, solid.
It doesn't affect it.
Doesn't care.
All right.
I also don't think it's much of an alloy in there. It's not like a lead alloy. I think it's just lead.
Right.
In any case, but the amount of lead inside your battery, so if you have a battery that's 10 inches by 5 inches, right, you can have different amounts of lead in that battery. And the thickness of your plates can be different. And that all impacts how much oomph your battery has. So you could buy battery A that's 10 by 5 and battery B that's 10 by 5. They're the same shape and everything, but that one's only got 150 amps and that one's got 350 amps.
Gotcha.
That's because of what's inside there. That's the only thing I can think, because it's just like, that gets a little old. Well, Walmart has it for this. Well, you go buy that Walmart battery, baby.
Then you go buy another one in 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I did some looking into that, and that's the only way I can think is just, I think even the manufacturers have different quality products that come off their lines.
Yeah, what happens is they build something comes off the line, and there's certain quality minimums it has to meet. If it meets these wickets, it's this level, or
Right. There's
if
the
it
premium.
only meets these wickets, it's still usable, so it gets it's sold a little bit cheaper, but it's called something else,
Right.
It's like back in the day when you had like Intel processors and Intel Celeron. Celerons were the processors that didn't cut the grade for whatever that higher up was. So they rebranded them as Intel Celeron, but
So you saying they came off the same assembly line?
Yeah, they just didn't have the same speed or whatever.
It's the same chip, but
Same chip,
when
yeah.
they tested it, it's like, oh, you didn't do so
So you didn't do so well, so we're going to rebrand you as this and sell you a little bit cheaper so that we can still sell you. But and that's true for a lot of things, man. A lot of products out there, they come off the same line.
well. The jeans I wear.
There's just minimums for different quality grades. If you meet all of them, then you're the premium product. If you meet only some of them, you're the semi-premium. You should have done that like hours ago then. I guess it really wouldn't matter, would it?
Oh, I don't know.
It would be distracting, but.
Yeah. We have a lot of distractions during this broadcast, but usually they're temporary.
Right. All right, I'll let her know she can do it.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I agree with you. I'm sorry, I agree with you. That would be a 45-minute distraction.
Right. Once the camera goes off, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let me go let her know that. Just so she's not like, that'd be mean.
We are the evidence of why you don't want to try and do a real broadcast in your house. I think at a certain point, we will maybe transfer over to my basement, which is getting cleaner and cleaner. I had so much crap in my basement. You don't need to know how much was in there, but it's all going away. Driving to the dump and throwing it away. And once that happens, we might move to my house for this.
What's that?
Oh, once my basement gets cleaned out and we can set up a brew studio down in the basement. For one thing, we don't need to move a Trans Am out of the basement.
No. Figure we're gonna need these here soon, so as we get them now, or while I'm already up.
Absolutely.
All right, can I have the bumper, please? Sure. I'm awfully close to that flame.
Is that why you're nice and warm?
A little toasty. About 95, getting there. Not really, but.
So we watched a video. Why were we watching videos?
Because we were drinking and just
It's true.
having fun.
Oddly, it wasn't a heavy metal video, which for some reason is what we watch when we drink. Or we also like to watch Mean Mary Banjo videos.
That happens too.
I
Mean Mary Banjo.
don't know. I like Mean Mary. I like her songs. Mean Mary is I think she's independent, but she's a singer-songwriter. Kind of moves towards the bluegrass realm. A lot of banjo sounds in her music and stuff. Anyways, I really like her. I started following her a while ago. I don't know why. Just randomly stumbled across her. You can find her on YouTube. You can find her on Twitter. She's not super active on Twitter, but she's on YouTube and stuff.
Twitch.
I've never seen her on Twitch. Have you seen her on Twitch? By the way, our Twitch feed didn't work today.
I don't use enough Twitch to know the difference. I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Oh, Twitch didn't work this time?
No, it just said it didn't. It said 3 running, 1 failed.
Oh.
I don't know. What are you supposed to do? Shut your whole broadcast down and restart again?
Right. No.
I don't know.
Can you start and stop them independently?
Well, it says we've sent more info to you via notification if you wish to retry. please toggle Twitch off and then back on in your broadcast multicast settings. I don't know if I can do that while broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't know.
So sad.
Here we are doing technical stuff over
Right?
right about the broadcast, but that's all right. Yeah, I was just curious if there was a way to start and stop the streams independently, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to.
Because then when we like go live, like automatically does them when they work, but
Are you talking about Twitch?
yeah, you should be able to go to you should be able to see where each stream is and start and stop it independently, I would imagine. I mean, that's a feature I would put in there if I was designing a system like this. You know, the go live button would be convenient because it'd start them off for you. You know, start them off for you, but obviously you should have control over them independently if you need to.
Right. It is looking like.
You can't click the little red guy. There's a button there where it says to fail. There's nothing to click there.
No, well, it does say. Oh. Let's try this again. Click. Click. Oh, start failed. Click. Click. Start failed. Click. Click. Okay, that's enough of that.
All right.
We'll figure it out later.
Whatever.
I wanted to just comments, see the hundreds of comments.
Yeah, we don't have.
Oh no, we have a whole bunch. Connection to Twitch has failed. Connection to Twitch has failed. Connection to Twitch has failed.
Why do you keep doing this beer?
What you do?
I don't know. Every time I open when it foams up, it wasn't shook up. It's been sitting for weeks, 2 weeks, man. It's kind of annoying.
Did you do the tap-tapperoo thing that you always do?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't do the tapper this time. Maybe
I highly doubt I do. You are the definition of creature of habit. I mean, you've locked me in your garage I don't know how many times.
Yeah. Kids have locked me in here too.
I know, because you've trained them well. And it's not a bad habit, to be honest, but
No, it's funny.
we're all creatures of habit. "16 minutes left on the steep."
I'm at about 160 degrees. Depending which side of the pot I'm on.
So my bass drum still isn't here.
There's my music stand.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like, very frustrating.
I'm on the verge of just calling them and canceling the order and requesting a refund.
Yeah, I gotta admit, so am I. It's like, look, give me my money back. Which is really too bad, because I so want to support local business.
Well, you know, the next town over is still local, so we could try that music store that I mentioned.
That still counts as local.
It may not be the same county, but it's the same town, you know. Local to me is if it's in the same state.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, I would like to buy local in my town, of course, you know, support small business, but when the small business doesn't do their part, why am I gonna keep supporting them? You know what I mean? There may be things that are out of their control, but it's just kind of ridiculous. Feels very ridiculous.
I mean, it's true, and maybe it's like, you didn't do your market research. You know, there's a lot of that. You know, people like, even we did that to an extent. You're like, oh, let's start a file sharing site. It's gonna be great. It's gonna serve this need. And it's just like, yeah, you didn't know how much work was gonna go into this.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think the same thing. Oh, I want to start a donut shop. We need another donut shop. There's 18 donut shops in this town.
You know what we need? Another coffee shop.
No, what we really need is a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. And another Thai restaurant too.
Yes, another Thai restaurant. Literally, our town, there's like maybe 20,000 people in the whole area, right? That includes the outlying areas. And we have at least 15 Mexican restaurants and at least 4 or 5 Thai restaurants.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
We're all just like, yeah.
Yeah, we just, It's like, you can't go to all of them.
Well, we don't have our Italian restaurants here. What? Do we have any Italian, like a real Italian restaurant?
That's true.
Not here in town, we don't.
There's one down south, one town over.
Yeah, I guess so.
The owner is, I don't know, he's pretty proud of his cooking. You know.
Have you had it?
I've had his Sicilian pizza.
What'd you think?
It was good. But I'm a really bad person to give food to and say, what do you think? Like,
That's true, right?
it's good.
It's good. I ate it, so it was good.
Yeah. Did you taste it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Pretty sure? Yeah, I mean, for me, filet mignon, peanut butter jelly sandwich, they're both the same. I mean, I have my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
I like spaghetti, but who doesn't like spaghetti?
Oh, there's some butthead out there that doesn't like spaghetti. Yes, you're a butthead.
Because if you're watching and you don't like spaghetti,
You're-
Steve called you a butt.
You're a butthead.
We don't apologize. We don't back up.
No, I'm just being silly. Because no matter what, there's always that one person that does not agree or like what you like, you know what I mean? Or what majority of everybody else likes. No matter where you go in the world, man, there's always that one person. Well, I don't like that. Of course you don't.
Why did we end up with you on this trip?
Right? But you know, to each their own. I'm just being facetious.
Well, it's true.
You know, there's things I don't like either, and you know, everybody has their own tastes.
My wife's not a real big chocolate fan.
Yeah, I've met some other people that don't like chocolate. You know, even though it's just kind of like, at least in the United States, I can't attest to other countries, but it's just like, oh, chocolate? Everybody likes chocolate. Not necessarily. You know? Not necessarily.
There's some mentally ill people out there, yes.
Now, a kid I went to grade school with, he actually got an answer wrong. It was like second grade, first grade era. He got an answer wrong. I don't know why I remember this too, because, you know, it was like, what is your favorite, like, ice cream? And he put vanilla. And the teacher marked it wrong because the answer was supposed to be chocolate. But he's like, I don't like chocolate. I like vanilla, you know?
How can there be a right or wrong answer to that?
I know, that was dumb. This was in the 80s, early 80s too, man.
Did his dad go down and whoop the teacher?
I don't think so.
He should have.
It's just like, there's no right or wrong answer to that. Seriously? it's what you like, you know?
Well, I'm going to tell you, some people, Wendy, I mean, geez, she just can't accept something. Like, I can easily drink this all-day IPA and eat a Chips Ahoy cookie. Not that I think Chips Ahoy cookies are great, but I'm trying to pick, like, a not great cookie on purpose.
Something that wouldn't work with beer usually.
Yeah, generally, you wouldn't eat Chips Ahoy cookies and drink beer. Most people don't. I could. Doesn't bother me at all. Wendy, she's like, nope, that is wrong. You have committed a sin, a moral shortcoming on your part.
Yeah, I understand. Most people don't usually drink beer and have cookies or eat chocolate with beer. It's like brushing your teeth and then drinking orange juice, but still, whatever, man.
Something else, it doesn't bother me.
Something else. Maybe, exactly. It's just like, whatever.
Well, it's good.
Or actually, it's the other way around. Brush your teeth, then drink orange juice or whatever I said. I can't remember how I said it.
Is my flame still on?
You have fire. Okay. You need to check your temp?
Yeah, I probably should, just to double check.
I'm close. I'm like at 135, so. But I'm gonna reduce my heat.
I was floating right around 150 there.
Maintain that small semblance of control. Yeah, I'm kind of like you in that sense. Like, you know, things don't bother me. You know, things you would never pair, at least like, you know, conventionally. I like whatever, you know. White wine and red beef, okay, you know. Red meat, let's do it. Not that I'm much of a wine guy, but.
No, but that's,
You know, it's a faux pas, you know, in the wine world. How can you have white wine with red meat? I just did.
Well, here's the thing. So I take the steak, I bite it, and then I drink the wine. That's how.
All right? It's not hard stuff. Why are you asking me this question?
This is not difficult. It's not hard to figure out.
Yeah, there's even people like that in the beer world too, man. You know, the beer food pairing snobs, you know. How can you have an IPA with whatever? Yeah, watch me work.
Speaking of which, though, so I'm not a big fan of spicy beers, or not spicy beers. Yeah, I don't like jalapeno beer.
I've had jalapeno beer. I don't like it either.
Have you really? That was a joke. That exists?
Yeah, it was a specialty thing. It was
Or like a not so specialty thing?
it was like a it might have been more of a novelty thing.
Yeah.
It was a jalapeno-based chili beer. It was like a lager, kind of like a Corona, but spicy. It was
like
very good.
spicy.
Like it had like
not spicy like hot spicy, like
no,
spicy
like
spicy.
chili spicy, like jalapeno spicy. Yeah, and I like spicy food, but it just didn't go well with the beer though. At least in the beer.
I saw a tweet, I was surfing on Northwest Brewmeisters on Twitter, which by the way you should follow, and some dude dumped chili peppers into like a Sierra Nevada torpedo or something.
Ooh,
it was like the red chili flakes.
Yeah.
He's like, I finally done it, and I said, I actually responded. I said, and we thought we were courageous.
I guess that's what you like, man.
That's just like, man.
Sierra Nevada torpedo is what they call extra IPA, I believe.
Well, that
So
was
it's really
extra IPA.
It's really
red
hoppy.
hot chili peppers in it.
I mean, it's real hoppy, both in flavor and aroma. If you smell it, you're just like, yep, that is hops.
Yeah, it didn't even look appetizing. He took a picture of it. It's like, it just looks like you do that. It looks like you vomited on top of your beer. It's just wrong. But what I was gonna say is, Wendy made that red Thai pork, red curry pork, and it was quite spicy.
Yeah, the serving you gave me the other day was good, man. I like that.
Oh, that's right. You like spicy beer. You like spicy food.
Not spicy beer. I like spicy food.
Anyhow, so I had some of my Scotch ale with it. It was amazingly good.
Cool.
I was like, wow, this actually works. Usually it doesn't, It's like spicy food. Suddenly my Coors Light doesn't look so good anymore.
It's like,
never mind. That and coffee. Spicy food and coffee. Nope, just kills it.
Yeah, I make that mistake sometimes in the mornings. I'll make a breakfast burrito and I'll put like tapatio or something on it, and it just doesn't go with the coffee, man.
Nope, it doesn't. It's
I guess out of all of them, the only way probably true, spicy aficionados will condemn me for this, but the only one that seems to be okay with the coffee, in my opinion, is Texas Pete. But the real picantes and stuff like Tapatio and Cholula,
Texas Pete's not real?
well, I don't know, man. It's kind of like the Milwaukee's best of hot sauces,
Oh.
Depending on who you're talking to.
Where's Tabasco fit in all of that?
I don't know. Tabasco's its own thing, man. It's like a vinegar-based thing,
It is.
But
What's Tapatio?
I don't know.
It has vinegar in it.
I think it's considered a picante. And here we go to the web. I'm sure there's vinegar in it, but Tabasco is very, very thin and light, whereas Tapatio and Cholula and Texas Pete they have a thickness to them. I mean, I love Texas Pete. I'll put on anything just about, but I think like the true connoisseurs don't really consider it a real player in that market. But that's the only one for me that it seems to not clash with the coffee I'm having in the morning if I put it on a burrito. But the other one, which I love the flavors, I just can't have coffee with them. It's like trying to have coffee and a taco at the same time. It just doesn't work, man.
True. I'm not a big coffee and taco guy. Let's go to Wikipedia because that is the fount of all knowledge in the United States at this point.
Unfortunately.
Okay. American hot sauce produced in Vernon, California. Popular mainly in the U.S. Predominantly among Mexican-American communities. Okay.
You think?
Tapatio is the name given to people from Guadalajara, Jalisco, the place the company's founders emigrated from, exported to Mexico, Canada, Central America, Australia, and elsewhere. Ingredients: water, red pepper, salt, spices, garlic, acetic acid, which is vinegar, xanthan gum, and sodium benzoate as a preservative. Product slogan is "Es un salsa, muy salsa," which, when translated to English, loses a lot of its romance and becomes "It's a sauce, very saucy."
Very saucy. I know, right?
So
it's like heavy metal guitar riffs. You take away the distortion, and it's like, what the hell is that?
Ding 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 ding.
Okay, stop,
I'm like right on the cusp of hitting my temperature, man. Come on, you can do it.
I went in there. So many songs if you translate them, just lose everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking with one of the mechanics who does not speak Spanish, and we were talking about Spanish and songs. I was like, yeah, songs lose something. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, like Take La Bamba, right? So, you know, para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poco de gracia. Oh, that sounds so cool and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
So romantic.
until you turn it into English. To dance the La Bamba, to dance the La Bamba, to dance the La Bamba, it's necessary to have grace.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's
So boring.
And then there's the yo no soy marinero, soy capitan, soy capitan, soy capitan. I am the captain. I am the captain. I am the captain. In case you're wondering, I am the captain.
I'm the captain.
Yeah. So it's yo no soy marinero, and it's like, ah, that's cool. And then it's like, I'm not a sailor. I am the captain.
Yeah, kind of loses its flair.
Oh, it loses everything. Rio Grande. Ooh, Rio Grande. Big river. Okay. At least it still sounds Western. Big river.
Big river.
And then, like, Lauren Green and somebody else ride a horse across a dusty something or other. Pass the same rock 19 times.
Tumbleweed goes by.
Yes. Amarillo, Texas. Yellow, Texas. That loses a lot right there.
Jeez. I did not know that's what Amarillo meant, was yellow.
Amarillo. Mm-hmm.
Did not realize that. Yeah. I've been to Amarillo, real Amarillo.
El Paso, the pass.
The pass, yeah. I knew that actually. That's where I'm from originally, is El Paso, Texas. So that I knew. What does that mean? The pass.
The pass. It's let's stick with El Paso.
Come on, 149. It's like, dude, just go over.
Not
There it is.
There.
All right, timer. It's going to start. What's left on yours?
Minute and 44 seconds.
Whoa! All right. So I'm gonna go. I'll step inside real quick and grab your
Some sort of.
mouse.
You should also grab a pot to throw these bags of stuff in.
Oh yeah, I'll do that too.
I mean, I know your floor is all gooey and sticky, but we don't need to make it more gooey and sticky.
Yeah, I didn't.
We really need to break out a cheap old mop and clean
That's
this.
talking about. There's some cheap Walmart thing. It's like $2 mop. Just,
Yes, something that just like
just
some
some hot water
away.
Really. Yeah, exactly. Just toss it.
Yeah, so but seriously, grab a pot
Okay. Yeah, I'll grab something.
or a bucket or something.
Right.
And I'm alone again. All by myself. I don't want to be all by myself. I don't know the rest of the words or the melody for that matter. But hey, there's enough of that. I have nothing to
Due to
tell.
the sheer number of canisters, we're gonna have to do this in increments.
Increments?
Increments.
All right. Increments it is. I'm just going to sit here and watch this stuff.
And I'll grab you up little.
Little.
Here's yours.
These all three of mine.
Those are yours. They are yours.
Chores?
Yours.
We got chores. It's time. It's time. All right.
All right, here's the ladle.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, we're gonna deal with
Stickiness. I hate sticky.
You know, if we do all grain brewing, we don't have to worry about that.
Shut up.
Just saying.
You are not just saying. You are poking the bear.
Yes, I am. But it's fun.
I mean, you've got a point, but. Dude, our broadcasts are 3 hours long, anyways.
I know, right?
Be like, now in day 2 of the first broadcast of All Grain Brewing with Jamie and Steve.
You know, it wouldn't be too much more. I mean, it'd definitely be a longer broadcast, but
We need a better setup.
once we had the process, once we had the process down to where we could go right from, the malting to the next stages, it would be easier. We would need something that's already set up with like a structure behind us, or the structure would be like what's on camera. That way, where things are gravity fed as they're, like they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting.
Wait. Yeah. Hold on. Because I want to make sure that we both have the same. I think we both have sparkling amber.
Sparkling amber.
Let me check mine.
Sparkling amber.
No, mine was sparkling amber for sure.
Okay, I have 3 of the same. Excuse me. I feel like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters. Here's your mucus ego.
Oh, I feel like I earned the right to come back.
So,
Yeah, I had the same malt, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't mix them. Oh, so this is what I wanted to show you. This is the amber sugar, candy sugar that's going into, my beer. Kind of hard to tell, but it's just
it is like rock.
amber colored rocks, but it's all sugar. You can also get this in a liquid form too, but he didn't have the liquid form for the amber. It was just clear, which would have worked just as well, but I figure since I'm doing a Dubbel, which is a darker beer, might as well go with the amber rock, amber sugar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then here's my 1 pound of dry malt, which is amber dry malt. It's the exact same thing that he's putting in there. It's just this is completely dehydrated so that it's powder.
And it makes your oil more frothy.
Right?
Which is funny because you have less distance between the top of yours and the top of your pot.
I know. You have a taller pot, yeah. All right, I'm just gonna get this set up. I put the heat back on in my office where my hands are. Are you sure why you do this thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'll keep it moving.
You four.
And you can do your own label.
It's good because over the past however many months,
Right?
year or so that we've been doing this, I've lost count of how many times you've burned me. However, you put the label over on your table, I think.
I did. Yeah.
Sir.
That gooey thickness. Let me check my temp real quick. See if I need to adjust.
Wow, this is gonna be a dark beer. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Both of ours are really dark. Evermont smells good.
How you doing?
On the high side. But I put my flame down. That'll be all right.
But definitely want to keep it moving because I didn't turn the flame off.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I don't want to scorch this at the bottom of the pot. Wow, that works really well.
Yeah, man.
It's like you cut it.
What, so dang thick? Yeah, actually killed my flame just to make it sure it's not gonna keep climbing. They're like right at the top.
Oh, right up there, 160?
159 point something. It's like, whoa,
Yeah, that's hot enough.
don't need to go over. Yeah, I'm supposed to let my steam. Probably still only got 20 minutes. May have to reignite. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, one more.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, these beers will not be ready by Thanksgiving.
No, not even remotely.
However, the ESB will,
Nice.
and possibly that IPA. No, actually, you know what? They won't, because it's going to sit in secondary for 3 weeks instead of 2.
Oh, by the way, we will not be broadcasting on our next broadcast day.
You'll be out of town, right?
That's right, I'm gonna be out of town for 10 days.
That's fine. I get it.
So, yeah, folks, yes, all 4 of you who may or may not be watching,
We can put something out on the Twitter.
yeah, don't tune in on the 21st. We won't be here.
Right, and then I guess we could brew, what, Sunday after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Or just keep the schedule and not brew until the appropriate time? I mean, there's options, I guess.
Not gonna lie, I highly doubt anybody is setting their calendar around this broadcast. So we can probably just start it up again.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anybody's.
Oh gosh, brew day. Never know. Well, except for Chase.
Yeah, Chase, you are the loyal one, and thank you for that.
Yes.
Salvaged. Did not break 160.
Oh, good deal.
But it's actually cooling pretty rapidly because it's cooler in this garage, so.
Well, it's cold.
Right?
Welcome to fall.
Oh. Is it out? Or is it just me?
Operator Eric?
Possibly. There we go. I just want to turn this little flame.
Who was that? I think that was Bailey.
They're gonna go get a treat.
Oh,
That's what it
nice.
sounds like. So, more power to them.
So here's a question: if you're doing all grain, so this is the first step of all grain, right? It's dehydrated down to a syrup form
Yeah,
or reduced.
you make your malts with all grain. So you'd have like 5 pounds of eggs,
Heading to the
10
store.
pounds of. All right. See you later.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Come fuck pillow. Please don't say that. One for the movie. Not doing the broadcast. Bad enough for impressions.
What movie was that?
It was a Chris Farley movie. Was it?
Oh, yeah, it couldn't. Whatever.
Oh, it's David Spade, Chris Farley.
Tommy Boy? Weren't they in a couple together?
Maybe it was Tommy Boy. Where he's like supposed to get the business, but he's like he's just a screw up.
Yeah, that's Tommy Boy.
Yeah, that was the one because they were like traveling trying to sell the auto parts
Right.
or whatever it was, And David Spade was trolling him in a sense,
Right.
acting like like the housekeeper, and he was saying inappropriate things. Which I don't know, I find inappropriate just funny.
Lots of people do. That's why they still put it in the movies and make a lot of money.
If it's inappropriate, I don't know, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. But I know when not to be inappropriate also. And I respect people's wishes. They don't appreciate something, I don't push it.
Oh, yeah.
But most inappropriate jokes are not going to offend me. That's just me. Obviously, I can't speak for the rest of humanity.
Some of us don't get offended. You just don't find them funny.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, that wasn't very funny.
We're not offended. It's just that was dumb.
It's like, come on, man. I say, you need some heat, dude. Now that your malts are in.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to get too excited and scorch the
Right.
sugars on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I don't know if Riley's going to win. She's probably going to have an attitude now. Because I was want to do her laundry.
Oh, she's gonna be mad at you.
She'll be fine. I told her as soon as the cameras go off, she can come out and start her laundry. And the reason she didn't do it earlier was she was working on her room, which is good. I appreciate that. She was cleaning her room,
That is good.
But that one load that she has won't take very long.
So I told you I brought my kid a new washer and dryer for his birthday, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, that's right. You helped me haul him across town. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we used the truck.
Yeah,
I know. I know your
grandmother has
son
Alzheimer's
was doing
too.
laundry, so it's like, here's your new set, boy.
You know what's weird? It's like, so you just dropped them off, because right, if we ran out of daylight, and we tarped them, and then, right, we put those things in, and that kid was genuinely excited.
Oh, wow.
He was like, oh, wow. And he's like beeping the buttons, and he's like actually paying attention to me as I'm showing him. It's like, okay, this and that, and the other. And of course, I'm showing him how to run the machines only in the most energy efficient manner.
Of course.
It's like, look, use the sensor function on the dragger. No. Don't use the timer function. Use the sensor function. I'm pretty sure he figured out the timer function because that thing's still running. I really am going to look at my electrical bill and see what happens.
It's like, oh.
I'm hoping, I mean, these are more new, so I'm hoping.
Right. One thing I keep doing is forgetting to turn off those studio monitors we get in those KRKs. I don't know if they're drawing a lot of power or not, you know. So.
Well, they're drawing some.
I mean, when the range is dormant, other than the light, they shouldn't be drawing really much of anything, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but they're still drawing some. They're more than off. Right. You know.
Most cases I'm going to turn them off, but then at times I'm like, oh, I didn't turn them off. Maybe I'll open more.
So I don't know about those little buggers, but I know that if I go down to my studio in my basement and I'm practicing, let's say I'm practicing my classical guitar, right? Just practicing my classical guitar, it'll stay chilly down there.
What kind of guitar?
Classical. That's what I said. No matter what you heard, that's what I said.
I thought I heard he was classicing his classical guitar. I was like, what?
Have another.
No, I think you need to have another.
No, I think your
I
ears.
swear it sounded like you said.
You don't know what you're talking about. You
Classical.
enough out of you. Let me tell my story.
So you were practicing your
I
guitar.
was plasticing my classical guitar.
And?
Anyhow, no. The point was not practicing guitar. If I play any of my acoustic instruments, right? All I do is turn the lights on. So I practice my steel string, practice the classical, do singing, things like that. Stays cool. If I turn those monitors on and listen to music, or like let's say I want to play electric or something, and so because I don't bother with my amp, it's so old, and I don't use amps that way. I go straight in. But yeah, 20 minutes it gets warm in there.
No kidding, huh?
Oh yeah, those little power amps on the back of those speakers keep that place right up. So they do draw some juice.
Yeah.
Because I know that room has been warmer than the rest of the basement. If I forget and leave them on if I forget overnight, leave them on overnight.
Leave them on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that with my office too. It's just like, wow, not as cold over here.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, they definitely impact things. I need to step off camera and address the biological function.
Okay, sounds good. I am about 9 minutes remaining of my steep, so which is fine. Hopefully his starts as well here pretty soon. That way we can maintain that staggered process, because we only have that one single wort chiller, so maybe in the future we'll build or buy another one, but for now, one does the job, which was a gift from my friend Reed. Thank you, Reed, if you ever watch. Yeah, looking at the wort, which obviously I can't show you, it's nice and dark. These are going to be some really dark beers. Smells pretty good. Keep an eye on his, that way if he doesn't make it back, I can take care of his hops for him.
And in the candy rocks.
Oh, no, I'm just reading about it. Ooh, these are made in Belgium. This is actually a Belgian product.
How appropriate.
Seriously, yeah. I didn't even realize that. It says here 1 pound of sugar and 1 gallon of water will produce a solution with a specific gravity 1.045. But whatever. It's going to have more than that because I'm going to have 6.6 pounds of amber malt extract in there as well. So this isn't going to be a super high beer, but it's going to be decent, I would say, in the end.
I don't know, man. How much? If you get
It's
a
about
good,
7.5 pounds of sweet stuff.
I mean, if the yeast does its thing, man, it's gonna have some kick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to 7%. I don't think it's going
It's
to
not gonna be a session, that's for
be.
sure.
No. It's not going to be high octane, but it's going to be medium octane, I'd say, which is fine. Oh, turned off. The goal isn't always to brew high octane beer, at least not for me. I want to brew a little bit of variety, but I'm still brewing different styles to kind of learn more of the process, learn what I like,
Well, yeah,
and then
I mean,
eventually I'm going to start narrowing it down.
So
and
I was-
really refining a recipe, you know.
so I was thinking the next one, I'd like to brew something a little more simple. I think I've mentioned that, right? So
Right.
just a simple like base recipe. It's like,
Well, do an ESB. That's probably about as basic as you can get. You know what I mean?
yeah, or maybe
Or even a basic IPA
basic pale ale.
or basic pale ale.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to do. Not an IPA. Do a basic pale ale, right? And just like straight out of Papazian's book.
Right.
It's like 1 pound of this, quarter pound of that, quarter pound of that, 2 ounces of those. Da, da, da.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you do that, you're going to have a pale malt extract and maybe a little bit of crystal and hops, and that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? More than likely.
And just go with that.
5.5 minutes. Ooh, I guess I should get my stuff ready.
You think? Gotta be careful at this point. I have a bad habit to get chatting about something and not be in a position to turn the flame down as this starts to boil, and then it goes all over the place. Which is messy and sticky and causes soot all over everything. Both our pots get really sooty because both our pots have been coated on the outside with various sugars from various grains. Any minute now.
All right.
So what do you got? You got two sparkling.
Embers as well, yeah.
So we got all the same stuff then.
Yeah.
As far as the liquid malts. Why'd you go with the dry malt again? Just because you wanted to get closer to the right amount?
Right, because I didn't need 10 pounds of malt for my beer. And I can get the dry malt in 1 pound increments. Yeah, this isn't meant to be a high gravity beer. So that's why I didn't need all those malts.
Meanwhile, I'm the one who says that he doesn't like to get drunk.
And it keeps making high gravity beers.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
That came off nicely. Perfect.
Yeah, one of mine did that too.
It's fine. Not like I need it.
Oh, I'm getting motion.
You're about to go, huh? Here's that guy. So you need your hops.
I do, but it can go for a couple minutes here while we get things situated.
What's your first hop?
Willamette, 2 ounces of Willamette.
Here's your Willamette. Yeah, you got to boil. I still got a minute.
1 minute?
Like literally 1 minute. On the spot.
So, did you notice in that video that we watched, well, I mean, there were some things about that guy that I didn't agree with. Like, I thought his
Sorry, I'm listening.
rolling boil was more like a roiling boil.
Oh, yeah, it was a little more aggressive than we normally do.
A lot more aggressive. But did you notice how he let it boil for a little bit, and then he added his hops? I mean, and like, he let it boil until the foam cleared.
Oh, did he? Or maybe it was just the editing. Maybe it seemed like that. I don't know. But
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's possible he did.
6, huh? You gonna need help?
No. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Draining, but not squeezing.
Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I know. But I thought it might be tempting. Why do I think it might be tempting? Because it was tempting to me.
You were gonna say something.
Not gonna say it.
What I did like about his video was the melted chocolate he put in his beer. That was cool.
Yeah, that looked delicious.
Yeah, it was a chocolate stout they were making. I can't remember. What was it? Chocolate stout, right?
It was a chocolate coconut stout.
That's right. Yeah, he toasted his own coconut too.
And he put a ton of it in there. I mean, he put some in the boil, and then they put it in again in the secondary, I think. Yeah, they put more in during the secondary.
Kind of dry hopped it, kind of.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, man, that's a lot. Put some motion. Okay.
Still coming out. Here, please.
Spatula?
Or ladle. The other utensil. You go there for a second.
I think that what we aim at is a pretty good level. And really, to be honest, I mean, our beers turn out good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
far, we haven't made a bad beer, you know.
With the exception of one, which had nothing to do with the boil, it had to do with the cooling.
Right.
And even that was drinkable. I mean,
Yeah, we still drink it.
why wouldn't we? I mean, if you're an alcoholic and you really need a buzz, that's how to get you there. But yeah, his boil was pretty aggressive. But I did notice
those
that.
interpretation things.
Yeah, I did notice that he let it go for a little bit until the foam cleared up a little bit before he added his hops, which is something we don't do. We try and like hit it just as soon as it boils, right? Toss the hops, you know, as best you can without having the boil over.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he's I don't know how he's affecting the dynamic of his beer, you know.
Right, and well, you know, the thing is that the time that it spends boiling, even without hops in it, you know, has an impact. It does have an impact. Because you know, there's chemical processes going on inside there.
Right.
You know, as the heat's applied. Same reason that you cool it quick. Get the cold break, get stuff to fall out, you know, even more, and stop the chemical processes that are happening.
It should be good.
So I just think that, man, if you say you want a 60-minute hop addition, you need to toss it at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing a 60-minute boil. You know.
Maybe he did a 9-minute boil, or did he say?
No, he did a 60-minute.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's not like he timed his hops at like 74 minutes or anything
Right.
crazy like that.
Hey, bro. Kniff. Do you have the kniff?
I always have the knife. I am a pocket knife guy.
Yep. That's yours.
What's weird is after adding the hops, it is not wanting to roll. Oh, wait a minute.
Alright. Here we go.
What do you think?
I think it's a little more. A little bit more. A wee bit more. I'm gonna minimize my phone.
Oh, good. Bring me up a minute.
I'm almost done. It's good. It's got a nice good whirlpool going. It draws everything in the middle. Sucks it down. Maybe I should have done a couple of small increments, but
It'll dissolve. Okay, what do you think about that?
that was pretty good, I think. All right.
And we are boiling. Boiling.
Did you strike?
I think I need
How
another
about beer?
Let's do. Let's do Newcastle.
Okay.
Where'd you put him? Oh,
In the other beer fridge.
in the other beer fridge. You know, the truth of it is, everyone should have at least 2 beer fridges in their world.
Last but not least, rock candy sugar.
Rock candy sugar. Oh, that's a little exciting.
Interesting.
It sounds like you have gravel
It does, it does.
in your pot. Can I have my connect back?
Sounds like gravel. Alright, let's get some lamb. It'll dissolve.
It'll be fine. So apparently the critical drinker does not like the new MCU movie, The Eternals.
Oh, I haven't heard of it, honestly.
Really?
I'm kind of done with MCU stuff, man, honestly.
Yeah, I was never into it in the first
I mean,
place.
well, yeah, same here. I watched, like, a couple years ago, whenever, like, the original Captain America, I kind of watched those at the
Mhm.
beginning of that stuff, but now it's just like, no thanks, Disney. Don't care anymore.
Well, it became an obvious money grab. And some of the hyper woke stuff just kind of, they ruined the stories. Like, look, why don't you just put an advocate for, you know, pick your costs, right? And just have them make a speech.
Right.
Because at least then we wouldn't expect some sort of story.
Alright, do you have any trash?
Here, bag.
I'm just going to get rid of the trash stuff that we can.
All right, so
If it's recyclable, just hang on to it. And, alright, let me, get rid of this guy. Don't need a ladle anymore.
Ah, darn it.
What do you do?
Power sticky.
Oh.
I need to wash my hands now, sticky. It's not too bad. Not delicious, but not too bad. It's much sweeter than you might expect. Coming out of grain. You know, it's not like sugar cane or anything like that. However, not exactly gonna put it in my coffee, if you know what I mean. It's much better in beer.
Alright, that's done.
And it's done.
Remember, I'm very clean as you go, so. It's just something that I like doing. Garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, puts me on camera all by myself. A lot.
You like it?
No guilt. Yeah, if I had something to talk about, I don't mind. I'm gonna start bringing a guitar. A guitar to brew sessions. Just bring my guitar. Ding, 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 ding.
Maybe you should bring a guitar.
I should bring my guitar, but we need to like,
Just stir my rocks up.
yeah, your rocks.
Yeah, they're dissolving because it's not so rocky sounding anymore.
Which is good, you know.
Right?
You gotta dissolve that stuff first and then get to a boil. What's the purpose of the rock candy? I mean,
More sugars.
does it taste different?
I don't know. It might give a little bit of sweetness. Because that's probably, I'm not sure how much that's fermentable, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, non-fermentable sugars they're actually an important part of any beer, you know?
I mean, it's probably going to ferment some of the sugar from the rocks, but it might leave some of it in there to add a little bit of sweetness to it as well.
Well, you know, and that's one of the things the hops does, is it counteracts that. That's why I put so many hops in my Scotch ale, because I didn't want it super sweet. And so I put, 2 packages of 10% alpha acid hops in there to kind of counteract all the sugars that were in that one, right? All right, man, that is textbook. Textbook.
That's a good roller, I'd say, yeah.
You're supposed to say textbook.
You already said it.
Doesn't mean you can't say it.
Textbook.
No, it doesn't matter. That's how I told you to say it. It just takes all the. It takes all the.
The panache out
Yeah,
of
it takes all the panache out of it. It's just like.
Well, now you just said it because I said to say it.
It's okay to tell me that it's not textbook. No, it's not okay. You'll hurt my feelings. Don't say it.
It's textbook.
Okay.
It's textbook. Mine, not even close.
Well, you're not even boiling
And
yet.
look, man, I think I found the key to minimize the foam. Of course, it is only 1 pound as opposed to 3 pounds, but
Or like that frickin' Newcastle.
right.
That's 6.6
It's like,
pounds.
it's like making Play-Doh for years, man, until it
I
resolves, you know.
What do you think? The whirlpool? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, it seems like it did the effect. It seems like it helped because it's kind of dumping it in small amounts. Whirlpooling it sucked it to the middle, and because whirlpooling it brings it down. It sucks it down, you know. And so maybe that might be the key to I mean, it's still foamed a little bit, but maybe that might be the key to minimizing the foam. We could try it next time we do a high DME beer, you know.
I think we should take our brewing in a new direction. Let's
Yeah.
go buy some power tools.
Power tools, huh?
Yeah, like drills. And then we'll just use like those paint paddles. We'll sterilize them, of course. But then instead of spoons, we just go.
That might make a big mess, but it'd be fun.
It was kind of
Might go like,
you know, it's like, okay,
oh,
that was a bad idea.
most of my beer is on my sweatshirt now.
Darn it, that was not well thought out.
Oh well. I want to try experimenting with yeast starters, but I don't know if it's worth the hassle or not, honestly.
Well, you ever line by line it and figure out how much? Well, yeah, we did. Yeast are $8 a pack, right?
Roughly, I want to say, yeah. Maybe it might depend on the yeast.
They say, I mean, if you really get into it, you can do do 2 or 3 batches off the yeast cake at the bottom of your
Right?
fermenter.
Yeah, I guess you could save a couple bucks, you know. You're not having to buy snack packs every time. But what I was reading was kind of neat was that, you know, people had like that
Yeah, the Pyrex
Pyrex
jar.
you know, the jar, and they had the little magnetic spinner to keep it moving.
Yeah, you put the steel rod in there and it spins a rod and keeps it aerated so it gets lots of oxygen and does its
Yeah.
thing.
It's kind of neat, this the what I was reading and watching on YouTube about it. So,
Seems like an initial outlay to buy some equipment, and then after that, it probably is less expensive.
right.
It takes more time though.
Well, it's like investing in all the brewing gear, you know, with those upfront costs. To buy the, you know, the kettles and the burners and the kegs and all that, you
I
know.
know, twice for you, because you gave
Yeah.
most of it away to me. And then I had to buy new stuff.
Kind of, yeah, except this guitar
Good
was.
friend.
Except this guitar was, you know.
It's a great guitar. There's nothing better than taking a Jackson guitar, putting 12s on it, 5 springs, and turning it into a jazz guitar. It worked pretty well. It sounded super mellow.
Nice.
It was definitely.
If you're done with it, I
mellow.
might take it back and get it set up, actually. You know why? Because it has the humbucker setup that I like.
Dude, it's your guitar. I haven't touched it in quite a
No,
while.
I know. I mean, I know it's my guitar, and my thing was if you still need it, then keep it for a while. You know, if you don't need it anymore, then I
No.
might just take it back and fix it up and get it going again. You know.
You know, I was thinking about using it for this piece that I'm working on for Big Bill's Garage.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, I would have to get it set up. Think about it.
Yeah.
I got 5 springs, super heavy strings. I'm not going to turn that into a shredder.
No, you would need to definitely reduce it down to like 9 or 10 gauge strings. You know.
Yeah.
And
But I
then
just
you'd
use-
have to change you'd have to get rid of a couple. You'd have to probably get rid of 2 of the springs, and then change the intonation and fix the bridge. I mean, the bridge that Floyd Rose on it, it's not even it's a licensed Floyd Rose.
Oh,
Which means
it's licensed.
It's a knockoff Floyd Rose.
Those are horrible.
So what I would do is what I
They're
would
hard to keep in tune.
I'd rather replace it with a legit Floyd Rose and go from there. The problem is I don't know the size of the nut though. And Floyd Rose measures theirs in millimeters.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure what that nut is on that guitar. If I were to order a Floyd Rose, an actual Floyd Rose for it.
Well, the nut's up here. Well, what are you talking about? The bridge?
No, the nut. The locking nut.
Up at the top.
That's part of the system. That's part of the Floyd Rose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I go buy a Floyd Rose off the shelf, it's gonna have a nut in it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's paired with the system, but they're different. They're different sizes, and I don't know the size of that guitar. I might be able to Google around and get the nut size. That way, I can order the correct Floyd Rose for it. You know. Now, what should be good though is the post should be the same size post, so I don't have to worry about changing the post. You know, which would be hard because I need a Luther for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the post width should be the same because it's a licensed Floyd Rose, which means someone was allowed to copy it, you know, but legally
Right.
copy it. So
Yeah. It's like my classical guitar. My plastical guitar.
your plastical.
My plastical guitar.
But yeah,
It's a licensed Jose Uribe.
right,
So Jose Uribe is the guy who actually
owns the.
he makes the guitars, but he sold the license to some Japanese guy. or
Yeah,
whatever.
that Jackson is actually a '90s made in Japan Jackson, which they were decent guitars. I mean, they weren't poor quality, but like I said, just didn't have an official Floyd Rose on it. They had that licensed version. But yeah, man, whenever someone's referring to like a Floyd Rose double locking floating bridge, they're referring to both the nut and the bridge itself.
I didn't know that. I figured it's like
No, that's why I was clarifying.
I don't know what the nut lockers do. I mean,
It keeps it in tune.
well, yeah, but I don't know how it does it. It locks the string up at the top, but down at the bottom of the bridge, it can still do whatever it does.
Yeah, because it's locked on there too. When you clip the ball and you screw it in, that's the double locking system right there.
I gotcha.
You know, I mean, it only keeps it in tune so much, you know, but.
Well, with the license to do one or two of the wow, wow, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know.
that wasn't great quality, you know.
It's like, what are you gonna do now? We're gonna play power chords the rest of the song.
But a legit Floyd Rose that's where everything's set up properly and and all that. The saddles are set properly and you got a true setup. You know, it should stay in tune pretty well, even if you go nuts with it. You know.
Well, your guitar didn't do too bad actually.
So.
You know, when I was playing all that jazz stuff, and it hung in there. I had a really cheap one for a while. I don't know where I got this guitar. It's a Schecter. Oh wow, this is horrible. Played one
Schecter.
chord.
Schecter was supposed to be decent too. That was bad though, huh?
I didn't like it. Maybe it was a Vector pretending to be a Schecter.
Awesome.
I don't know. It was a beat up old guitar. I got it. They had a licensed Floyd Rose and 3 or 4 chords, and it was out of tune.
It's just like yeah. I don't know, man. There's people that argue that like Fender Squires are, you can use them for more than just initial learning. But I don't know. I think you get what you pay for. It depends where you want to go with it, man. You know, if you're gonna do some serious recording or play live, you can probably get away with a cheaper guitar live. But if you're gonna record, I think you need to have not the most expensive guitar. But for whatever music you're trying to make, you need to have a guitar that can sound well enough and stay in tune. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a big thing, staying in tune. You know, because if you're going to action, and that would be super important for live performances. You know, if it's not staying in tune, that's just no
Right. But I think you get away. I think you get away with a cheaper guitar in a live performance than you can in the studio, honestly. And now there's probably, I'm sure there's people that would disagree with that, but that's just my personal opinion. Again, I don't think you need to have an $8,000 guitar to record in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like an $8,000.
Oh, so would I. But I don't feel I need to have it just to record when I want to record. You know?
So I would have a hard time. Excuse me. Again. Hey.
One more.
Nope, we're okay. I would have a hard time dumping $8,000 on a guitar.
It would
At least
yeah.
an electric.
Now,
I
that
have
was
a real hard time dumping $8,000 on
Now,
one.
if I was making, thousands and thousands of dollars a year as a music, whatever. Singer, songwriter, or whatever, session guitars, that'd be different, but
Yeah.
that's not what I do.
I can see putting up to $10,000 into an acoustic guitar. But I don't know, maybe I just don't appreciate electrics as much as I should. They just seem like Lego guitars.
You don't have to appreciate it. It's not your thing,
I know, well, it's still, it's like, I got this really cool guitar, cool. Then I bought new pickups for it. Did pickups come with the guitar? Well, yeah, and I didn't like them. It's like, and then I got a new neck. And then I got new pots. And then I got new this. It's like,
that's a little extreme.
it's like,
Changing the pickups is one
your
thing.
guitar is no longer your guitar.
That's why, I don't have one yet, and I don't know why, But that's why I want a neck through body construction electric guitar. That way it's all one piece, you know what I mean?
Is that what neck through means? It's just
Yeah.
one chunk of wood?
Yeah, it's just it's not a bolt on. You know, it's
Okay, I
It's-
see what you're saying.
it's built. It's all one solid piece, and yeah. I mean, not there's anything wrong with bolt ons, but it's a bolt on, you know.
It's one more place, I mean, it's particularly when you're talking about sound
Right.
and tone and sustain and mass.
Yeah, with that neck
Things
through,
like
you get
that.
better. You get better sound. You get better.
Well, you're gonna get it because it's one solid thing. That bolt-on chunk is just one more area
Right.
for it to be disrupted, you know?
That's why, yeah, I prefer neck through. It's just funny that I've not found one yet, but I mean, I've found plenty of them, but I just never seem to have one. It seems like I always end up with a bolt on. I don't know why, but whatever. Then you know, there's plenty of use. You know, bolt on are just fine. There's plenty of top performers that use bolt on guitar necks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that Chris Broderick that I'm waiting on, that's a neck through.
Really?
That Jackson, yeah. And I got
How
a
many more months? 19, 20?
December now. I got this guitar I pre-ordered back in October, sometime in October.
Really?
Which I know was only a couple. Technically, October was just a week ago or so. But I ordered it. I want to say early mid-October, and I was originally told it was going to be shipped around sometime in November. He didn't give me a date, but I got a message the other day from the sales engineer that he said that there's been a delay and we're probably not going to see your guitar until December. It's just like, oh, man, but that's all right. I have other guitars I can play in the meantime. I just really want this new one, you know.
So, Steve, would you like another beer?
You drink that whole beer already,
Maybe.
dude?
And now we wait.
You can have a beer. I just poured this. You might as well get a beer.
No.
You might as well get one. I just poured this.
I will wait. I'll be okay.
I guess I'm the one yakking this time.
That's all right. You were doing your thing and stirring your gravel into your
Gravel. Yeah. I just poured gravel into his board. Another guitar brand I'm thinking about looking into is called Solar Guitars. They're a newer brand on the market, but they seem to be like the idea is a quality guitar, but not at that kind of price, man. Like they seem very affordable, but they're like built like a high-end guitar, but they're not USA made. They're made in Indonesia. Like, the company is owned by remember the guy Ola England I was telling you about?
Yeah.
It's his company. But,
Oh, okay.
But the factory is in Indonesia. And what was cool though was he was doing a video thing. I was just clicking around. He was doing like a video vlog, whatever you want to call him. And he himself travels every couple months to the factory and tests the guitars to make sure that they're they're not macro in the sense where they're not producing thousands of guitars. They might produce like 200 guitars in whatever period, you know what I mean? And so he'll go down there and test them and do the quality on it and then move them.
And where's he from?
Sweden, actually.
Sweden?
Yeah.
I know someone from Sweden.
So, but I was thinking of checking it out. Now they are sold in the U.S. Like I could probably go to Guitar Center and try one out, see if I like it. But like the most expensive one I've seen on his website is like I think it's like was $1,300, and that was like a artist signature series guitar.
Yeah, top of the line.
Yeah.
Everything's fancy.
Right.
If you do
Like the regular, the non-customized, artist versions. I mean, anywhere from close to $1,300, but I've seen them down to like $600-700. They have neck through versions. They have bolt-on versions.
Mm-hmm.
The bolt-ons are a little bit cheaper. But anyway, I like the guitars. They look cool. They sound good, and they're not like super hyped up.
Yeah.
For a quality guitar is what it sounds like. There's a lot of professional musicians that use them. At least in the metal world. I don't know about the non-metal world, but a lot of bands. You guys remember Coroner? They're old school German. I think they're from Germany. German thrash band. At the Gates they use them, and there's a bunch of the harder metal scene uses them. You know what I mean? It's because that sounds like they're good quality. Now, what I would do actually, if I did buy one, depending on the pickups that come with it, I'd probably change the pickups because I'm not sure if the pickups are.
Here we go again. Lego guitars.
No.
Legos.
Do you upgrade parts of your computer? Do you upgrade parts of your studio?
Right, but
Okay,
I
same
don't,
thing.
see, I don't, I put my computer parts right there with your Lego guitars. I don't put them with my acoustic guitars. In my mind, in my schema
Lego
of
guitar.
quality things, of artistic.
So I would
Works of art.
probably upgrade the pickups to something I really want. You know, it's not run of the mill. So
Well, that makes sense and stuff. And of course, the big thing is,
it's like upgrading a car. It's like, you know, I'm going to put a different something in there.
No, I get it.
Okay.
I'm just busting your chops, man. I get it. The problem with guitars is like, I mean, like in the electrical guitar world, you've hit this thing. You've hit this thing where it's like you're buying a name. Is there a reason you turned it down so much?
Yeah, because it was about to. Blah!
Oh, we don't want blah.
No, it was about to go.
Oh, sure enough, there it goes.
So I got.
I mean, it's not boiling over, but it's starting to.
No, it's yeah.
Starting to get.
So I just lowered the heat so that I could have a little more control.
You're much better. You're much better at keeping an eye on this stuff than I am. I'm usually like, oh no. In any case, so yeah, what I was gonna say is just that the problem with the acoustic guitar world is there is none of that. You've got Martin, right, which is a respected brand, and Taylor and Gibson.
Sure.
Those three respected brands, and you'll pay anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 for one of their line, depending on what they do. Right? But in the acoustic guitar world, you don't have like an intermediate, well-respected quality guitar brand. What you have is luthiers who make $25,000 guitars.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that is your guitar. It's like there's only one of these guitars. You're the guy that owns it. There's only one in the whole world. You own it. But there's nothing like that Solar Guitar Company. At least not that I know of. I mean, there's some brands out there. There's some Seagulls.
Like Fenders and stuff.
I just can't bring myself to
Takamine, which is ESP's acoustic line. I mean, that's probably quality, right?
Takaminis are not bad.
My mom had a custom-made Pimentel. I don't know if they're still around anymore.
I've never even heard of that brand.
I might be saying it wrong. Pimentel?
I mean, spell.
I don't know. Don't know, honestly.
Makes it harder to help you with the pronunciation.
Right? It was just custom-made. I don't know how much it cost. Probably $1,000. You know, is it nylon string?
Spanish guitar, as some people call it. It's not really Spanish though. Classical.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Nylon
It was
string,
built in the
classical.
style of classical. Nylon string classical guitar. I used to love playing it because mom was small, so the neck was custom made. It was easier to play because it had small
Right. Small neck. So talk about when you were a kid then.
Yeah, I was a kid. That nylon string that I had when I was taking classical guitar was not Yamaha. The neck was huge, man. It was just like,
Yeah, and a full scale classical guitar, the neck is really wide. But it's really wide because you're putting your fingers in very precise spots. You know, you need room to place fingers. It's like when you're doing a regular, like an A form chord, but way up the neck.
Right.
Try that on an electric guitar, you're just not fitting all your fingers in there. It's not gonna happen. In fact, on most steel string, you know, like Martins or Taylors, it's not gonna happen. But you get on a classical with their big fat necks, I mean, you can fit more fingers where they need to be. It's a different style of playing, that's for sure. Not quite a different instrument, but very, very close.
Yeah.
Kind of like someone who plays an organ versus someone who plays a piano. Because of the action of the organ and the way the organ feels, it's almost, well, they do consider it a completely different instrument.
Oh, really?
I mean, and of course, classical organs, your big pipe organs and stuff, they've got a whole foot pedal board that's making sounds too. You know, so organists are playing melodies with both their hands and their feet. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah. What's left on your boil?
About 36,
Okay.
32.
So I'm kicking mine off right now.
Yeah, so
That's a little recipe.
We got more than enough time to get this all done properly. I'm gonna open up the door and step off camera for a bit.
We're good.
I think when I close the door back down, I'm gonna close it all the way.
Okay. Well,
It
chilly,
is-
isn't it?
It's a little cool out, man. Just a little cool.
There we go. But to finish my comments on electric guitars, sometimes you can, when you get them from, the dealers, not the dealers, but the factories, you can get them customized with the pickups you want. I'm just talking about like sometimes the stock pickups aren't always that good,
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably a reason they can stay affordable because they kind of put a mediocre pickup in it. Because most serious guitarists, they're going to replace that, or at least serious electric guitarists are going to replace that stock pickup, that's not so good, with something like a Seymour Duncan or a Damasio or something.
Right, and it's something that can be done fairly easily.
Yeah.
I mean, on for example, on a classical guitar, there's very little you can do to that thing once it's built.
Right,
once it's
exactly.
built, that's it.
There's really nothing to upgrade unless you break your bridge or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
But no, I understand that, because there's really not much you can adjust on an acoustic guitar. Maybe change the tuning pegs,
truss rod.
Oh yeah, I mean the truss rod if your neck is a little work, but maybe change your tuning pegs. If you want something a little more professional or that holds better,
There's only one classical guitar I know of that has a truss rod, and it just hasn't caught on. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't work so well with classical guitar, or if it's because the classical guitar community has, a thing.
Right.
Because that happens. That happens where it's like, this is a great technological advancement, but the people who are part of this community are just so.
Like, they're like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
You might want to consider doing your bottle here soon, man. Depending. So you got about 30 minutes, so.
Yeah.
Getting your carboy ready. But the sink's cleared, so you can go in there and use the sink if you want.
Oh, okay.
And just you can dump it out here if you so choose, and then you can take it in and rinse it in the sink. And then actually maybe we can just kill the camera, and I can get the other things ready too, like the funnel and all that kind of stuff, Because we got, like I said, you got 30-ish minutes on your boil.
Yeah.
Mine just started, so I got time on mine. There we go. Nice textbook boil.
Textbook. Oh, sure, you say it for yours.
Do I say it for mine too?
Yes, here's his textbook.
Okay.
And I don't even look.
Well, I think we pretty much got this down pretty well now, man. Our textbook boils, as we like to say.
Well, that's what I would call a rolling boil. It's rolling.
Yeah, it's just kind of moving. I mean, I see the hops kind of floating around and moving with the boil, so.
So thirsty. So thirsty.
You want a drink?
No.
So I don't know, what do you think, man? You want to just go ahead and kill the camera?
We could, you're right. I should probably rinse.
Our whole, 4 viewers we had? If that.
Five. Thank you, all 5 of you. You are wonderful people. May God bless you and your children and your grandparents and your ancestors.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't
May
stick
all your
around,
male offspring be good looking and all your female offspring be strong, intelligent on both sides.
Okay.
Lake Wobegon days.
Oh.
Did you ever listen to that? That was his famous. It's Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, the men are good looking, and the children are above average. that was the.
That's kind of funny.
It is. It's very clever. And then, of course, the woke crowd got him.
The woke crowd.
They did, man. I mean, that crowd has destroyed more than it has. The woke movement has destroyed more than it has created. 100%. It's just, and now you're getting blowback. I mean, the whole woke concept is getting blowback from people that you would expect to be more on their side, like Dave Chappelle. You know, he caught all sorts of flack.
Mm.
You know, he's obviously he's black, right? And he is, you know, he's concerned with racial issues. You know, if you listen to his comedy and stuff, he's not uninvolved in that. It's not like he's decided to stay out of it, you know. You know, he definitely called. I watched The Closer, and he definitely called he called George Floyd's death a murder, right? So it's like, okay, he's chosen a side in this. But on the other hand, he had another group that he didn't agree with, and they just went after him.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember that.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough to be part of the racial thing. You have to drink all the Kool-Aid now.
It's tired of like you have to agree with everybody. No, you don't.
Well, it's true.
Get over it.
You know, you and I we're more conservative in most of our views, but even then, it's like the conservative world has the same problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're a conservative person, and then you say, it's like, yeah, but you know what? I'm kind of down with letting illegal immigrants in, you know? Suddenly, you're Satanist. Like, what? I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. I have more respect for Jose, who travels I'm not going to say walks, because they don't walk, but travels 5,000 miles up from something to get a job in the United States, where Bob won't jump on a Greyhound bus from Michigan to Arizona to get the same job.
Right.
It's like, come on now. Let's think about it.
No, that's a good point. It's just like these folks are traveling hundreds or maybe thousands of miles to work, and people in this country, citizens, you know, native citizens of this country, not Native Americans, just people who were born in the United States.
Oh, maybe Native Americans too.
Are just, you know, they'd rather sit there and collect handouts from my tax dollars, you know, instead of going to get a job, you know.
So, yeah, and it's frustrating. Or they'll complain. It's like, they're taking our jobs. It's like, you could have had that
job.
But you wouldn't get on that Greyhound bus and go get the job. You know, Mike Rowe, that's his big thing, the job gap or the skills gap. There's so many jobs in this country.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of available jobs, more than.
And not all of them are flipping burgers. You know, I mean, most of them are working with your hands, welding, electrician, plumber. You know, so they're going to be hard work.
That's vocational stuff. Is what those kind of jobs are what make anybody, any country, that keeps that country carrying on. You need welders, you need plumbers, you need mechanics, you need whatever, you know.
You might say you need it more than academic.
I guess blue collar work, yeah. Exactly. I mean, if all the software engineers disappeared, yeah, it might be a little inconvenience, but you know what? Water will still flow. You know, my car will still get fixed.
Yeah, we knew how to make water flow before computers.
Yeah.
You know, we knew how to make cars before computers.
No offense to software engineers, because I am one.
That's true. You are a software engineer.
If you know, we're just so like I don't know if the word's reliant. I mean, we're not reliant, but we're just so like, everything's technology, everything's.
Well, for decades, we've been preached the sermon or the gospel of academia is what that's one of Mike Rowe's. He doesn't say the gospel of academia, but he's saying that's one of the problems that we preached that for so long. It's like you have to go to college, otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Right, and that's not that's not the truth.
No, it's not the truth at all. And the other thing is that people who get the degrees, you know, I have 2 degrees, you know, and you know, without sounding arrogant, I do have, like, I'm good at academics. So maybe it's a little unfair, but because I have 2 degrees, it's like I can recognize how just managing to stay in school and
Right. It's
Get
not
your
easy.
grades.
I mean, I get it.
yeah, but what I'm saying is it doesn't make you smarter, it doesn't make you
Oh,
wiser.
no.
It makes you more educated, but what are you able to do with that education? Like, for example, it's like, let's say you know about Pythagorean theorem, right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, right? Can you use that to design the house, the angle on your chicken hut?
Right.
Chicken
If you're
coop.
not doing it, then I would
Right.
say no,
Right, so you have this knowledge, but you can't apply it. Meanwhile, and seriously, so I actually did, when I built my chicken coops at home, I used Pythagorean theorem. It's like, I need this long, but here's the deal. I know other people who built chicken coops just as well. In fact, they probably built them faster than me because they didn't spend time doing math.
Right.
And they just put the boards up there and said, that, cut it and put it into place. There are brilliant engineers that can't change the oil in their car.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
There are brilliant engineers that say, yeah, that plane's fine, and then it crashes the very next flight. Might have personal experience with that one. That was pretty bad.
It was a bad one. Nobody died, right?
Nobody died. Well, the plane died.
That doesn't count.
No, that was funny.
Crew, right?
Right, yeah, no human beings were even injured in the whole thing. I mean, it was real exciting, and there's
Okay,
probably
an engineer gave their green light on, and this thing went down?
So, plane landed on the carrier, and the nose gear collapsed,
Oh.
right? That was really exciting, because we're
Right.
doing flight ops, and so now we have to somehow get a plane out of the landing zone. We have other planes in the air that are running out of fuel. Gee, it'd be nice if we could land.
Yeah.
So they got it out of the landing area, all right? Put it down in the hangar, and it stayed there for the rest of the cruise, craned it off, right? The airframe shop went down there, looked at it, took it apart, looked at it some more, and they said, this airplane is bent, right? Because airframes do bend.
Yeah, I get it.
After a while, it's like, I'm sorry, the airframe itself.
I deal with that with what I work on sometimes with the wings. It's like, yeah, the flaps aren't gonna be, the gap's not gonna be perfect because the wing is bent.
Yeah, it's like, you're not gonna put this back in. So anyways, airframe said, this plane is bent, it's done, right? Engineers came in. This plane's good to go. You can fly it here. You need to do this and that and that. And so the shop did this, that, and that. Right? Taxied it out. Took off. All right, good. Landed. And this time, instead of getting to the run and crunching, the nose gear collapsed on touchdown. And they ground the nose of that plane into the runway for 1,000 yards.
Wow.
Game over.
Game over. Yeah, that plane's done.
Yep. But still,
Right.
nobody died, so it's really
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And if you'd like to go to San Diego, you can see that plane sit on a couple sticks.
It's now the display model.
Yes, they painted it pretty and put it at an angle. Ooh, look at this plane.
Hey, let's kill it.
All right,
We gotta get the rest of the gear set up for.
it's really too bad because that was some good conversation.
It was. But how much time do you have left?
Probably about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
We gotta get to work.
Hey, we need to kill it. For the 5 of you that did drop by, thank you very much. Appreciate that. For any of you drop by more, put some comments in there. We will talk back to you, and then
You can even tell us we suck, man. Who cares?
Yeah.
We like interaction.
I mean, we might use bad words and ratchet up to PG-13 and R, but
Maybe.
or maybe we'll just smile at you and say, thank you very much for your valuable feedback. Yeah, I don't see us doing that. All right, hey, so that's it. Relax.
Don't worry.
Have a homebrew.